exactly 7 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and say the pledge, play the music, and I'll be right back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, work for all my life, and I had to start again, just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take it away. And I'm proud to be
So I had
an
made
American,
myself
where at least I know I'm free.
a piece of the ham,
And I won't forget
with a
the
piece of the
many
bread, a piece of
times
cheese, and put
who
in a plastic
gave that
bag
right to me.
with a couple of
And I
slices
gladly
of bread,
stand up
and maybe take it over
next
and
to
maybe something
you
or something or
and
whatever.
defend her
And after I
still
got
today.
another confrontation with
'Cause
him,
there ain't no doubt I
I
love
go
this
out and we get in the car and I said to
land.
Addison,
God bless the
is there any place you want to go? But she'd already eaten lunch, right? So she said no. And I said, I gotta go get gas. And we went to go to gas. And I said, I'm gonna go to dinner and get something for lunch. I
From
said,
the
okay,
nation Minnesota
we got groceries. I said, but your mom
to
don't
the
buy for me.
hills of Tennessee,
And I said, I don't eat your guys' stuff.
across the plains of Texas,
Mommy wouldn't eat it.
from sea to
I
shining
said,
sea, Detroit down to Houston,
if I
and
do
New
it this
York
way, I don't have to
to
do it.
LA. Well, there's
And
pride in every American heart,
even in there,
and it's time we stand and say
even in there,
that I'm
I just got
proud
a bag of
to
chips.
be an
I said,
American,
you know what, I don't need
where
nothing
at
for
least
this.
I
I got
know
her
I'm
some
free.
candy for her,
And I won't
she
forget the
she
many
likes to buy these
times
dollar
who
bags of candy
gave
like
that
they used to
right
buy
to
them.
me.
She
And
likes
I
to buy them
gladly
on stamps
stand
to
up
take care of them
next
on
to
the
you and defend her
And
till today. 'Cause there ain't no
long
doubt
story
I love
short,
this land.
uh,
God bless the USA.
long story short, we did everything.
And I'm proud to be an American,
uh,
where at least I know I'm free.
I got back and
And I won't
she decided
forget
she
the
wants some
men
barbecue
who
potato
died,
chips.
who
I'll give her some.
gave their right to me.
Then she decides she wants
Stand
waffles.
next
I
to
thought
you
you were
and
thanks to
defend
her.
her till
So I
today.
had some waffles. So I made myself.
There ain't no doubt I love this land.
Man, this is a terrible version.
God bless the
God bless the USA. Proud to be an American. Hello, Janet. Ian. One voice for you. Hello, everyone that's here. I apologize. I wanted to be on time tonight, and I'm not using my ordinary way of playing the song, so I have to go and try to find a version because I can't, on my tablet, I can't get to YouTube and get the good version. I seen it was him singing, and I thought, I'm sorry, but I thought that was the terriblest version I've ever heard. But you know what? We're not responsible. We have no legal rights to it. So we play it for entertainment purposes only. And I hope you guys were entertained because it was the right person singing it. He sang it a totally different way. I like the version that we usually use where the military and all them are singing with him. To me, that's my favorite version. And you know, the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, that's the one thing I hope when all of this comes down that every school starts to say that again. You know, for the kids. You know, if I was a kid, and I'm not going to try to get something going here, but a kid should go into school, and if they don't say the Pledge of Allegiance, do they even allow them to fly the flag or or is the way these people are getting, are even flying the American flag in school. I remember when I was a kid, a kid, and I was about the age of you guys. I remember first grade, second grade, third grade. It used to be an honor when you had your week where you and a friend got to go out and put the flag up. And as in the first grade, we were taught not only how to fly the flag, how to put it on the flagpole and rise it. If we was in a national emergency, like when John Fitzgerald Kennedy was supposedly assassinated, when we was going through that, they told us how to fly it, showed us how to fly it at half mast. And we learned all about the flag because we were Americans and we were dang well proud of it. You know, they taught us going to a school that had 3 classrooms and one big room that had bookshelves all over, and that was our library. It was also the place where the phone rang. It was also the place that if you got a spanking, you had to go there and lean over the table, and the principal would right on your rear end. But it was a place of many things. But in that big table sitting in the middle of that room, they taught us how to fold the flag and how to respect the flag. And we don't have that anymore. We don't have it. I'm sorry, but if our president, the hat, wants to do one thing, he should make it that you go to jail, anybody who burns a flag in protest. Now, you also need to take care of the flag. If the flag gets beat up and it's torn up, then you get rid of it. But you dispose of it properly. But if you're in a group and you're protesting and you burn a flag, then you deserve to go to jail. You do not cross goal. You do not collect $200. And that's my feeling. Because by God, I am proud to be an American. And Jimmy and Patriot 11, all the Patriot kids, I really hope you're proud. I really hope you're proud to be an American. Because we are free. You know, kids, I'm going to tell you something about these people right now. Oh, they're going to leave. Did you see where a guy that I really used to like as a performer, kids, Bruce Springsteen, now all of a sudden he's nothing but rebellious that our president isn't doing a job, but yet the one we had in before him was brain dead. You know, this man was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, if he even knew what Cocoa Puffs were. And think about it, Karate Kid and Wyatt Earp. Think about it, our princess, who's our queen, and Hunter. You know, think about how amazing of a life you have to be living in a country, because you can do and you can say things and you don't have to worry about it. All these people, kids, that want to jump up and leave and run and go to other countries because they don't like the way it is here. Go ahead and do it, please. Man, I'd be a Uber driver. I'd be a Uber driver just to get them all on the planes and get their butts out of here. You know, Boogaloo, and Boogaroo. I don't want you guys to have to experience anything like this. That's why we believe so much in the kids here. That's why we are here for you. We don't want you to experience what we've had to experience. Someone said to me the other day, they said, Patriot 5, Ralph, whatever they called me, you know, as long as, I always went by thinking I didn't care what people called me, as long as they didn't call me too late for supper, because I was always hungry. You know, and hi, David, good to see you here. Pittman Adams, Gary, Soft Dookie, a lot of new people. Jack, good to see you. But see what I'm saying, kids, is, you know, take little Leona and little Elon. These are 2 little kids that they don't even, I mean, the best part of their day is when they can build something with their blocks, or Grandpa John, or you know, the grandpas come over, you know, and they play with them because they're just so tender, so loving, so caring. Isn't that right, Cream? I mean, you know, think about it. The kids, you are the reason. When someone said, why do you think you're doing what you're doing, Patriot 5? I told them, because we come from a generation, the greatest generation. We come from the greatest generation ever. And God waited until this generation got to an age where he's either going to lose us or he's going to use us, and he decided to use us. And we're going to bring this country back, and we're going to make America great again. With or without the hat. With or without these other people. I just listened. Kids, I just listened to some things. And I got excited, and you can tell in my voice, I'm excited. But the thing is, I don't know what kind of show I'm going to have tonight, kids, because there's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. What happened? Where did it go? It like Puff the Magic Dragon just disappeared. You kids, if you don't know the song Puff the Magic Dragon, go find your mom and dad and have them get it and let you listen to it. It's a beautiful song, but it gets very sad because kids grow up and they go away, but the dragons live forever. And it's true. I didn't speak about a veteran war hero. If I was going to speak about a war hero, I'd speak about Audie Murphy. I've seen enough of his Cowboys. I know he was a war hero. I hope the week is good too, Justin. And that's what we want to talk about, kids. You know, I've asked my daughter this weekend on Sunday. I do a cemetery run. I've been having a lot of people tell me we have to honor the military, the veterans, and this. Veterans have their own day. They have Veterans Day. This is Memorial Day. This is the day, the weekend that we go and pay honor to all of them we've lost. My mom and my dad, aunts, uncles, best friends, little girls that died way too early. Guys I played baseball with that were really great friends. This is the day we go out and we put flowers and we honor them. We talk to the graves like they can actually hear us, which they can. But this is Memorial Day. This is not Veterans Day. And I'm not being disrespectful to veterans. I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. Remember our fallen ones, yes, but not our fallen veterans. Remember them, because if they're fallen, they need our support on this weekend. But this is Memorial Day, and I do a cemetery run. I go to 5 or 6 cemeteries. On Sunday, I drive about 100 miles. It's something that Ron and myself started when my mom and dad was alive. My dad passed away, and we continued doing it with my mom. And we would always do it on the Sunday because my mom loved to listen to the Indianapolis 500 on the radio as we was driving these miles. And we would always pick who we thought we was going to win, and we'd put $1 up or 50 cents up or whatever. Me, her, and Ron and my dad. And we'd put that up. And if our driver won, we got the money. You know what we got to do with the money? We got to go buy us a Dairy Queen. Because back then you could get a Dairy Queen for a couple of bucks. But it was the way we did it. Kids, I'm 71 years old and I'm still honoring my mother. Not just going by putting flowers on her grave, but one of the last things my mom ever said to me and Ron, can you keep this tradition going? Can you go out every year and do the same thing? Because one of the places we go, we drive about 60 miles one way to one cemetery. But it's where her grandparents, her aunts and uncles, and several family members. And we put flowers probably on 30 to 50 different graves that day, and we honor these people. And that's what I wanted my 3 grandchildren, Patriot Super Gymnast, Patriot 7, and Patriot Little Monkey to go with me. They've never made the trip with me. So I asked my daughter, on the little monkey's birthday on May 5th, give her plenty of notice. Can the kids go with me? Well, I got to wait to see what their dad wants to do that day. To this minute, my daughter has still not returned. Can they go or not? And now she tells me that they may be going to Missouri for the weekend because he's down there working. and they might go down and be with him. Just an excuse for them not to go. And if they go, I hope they have a great trip. I hope it's a safe trip, and I hope they have fun. But see, I'm keeping a tradition going with Ron from our parents, our mom and our dad. And I wanted my grandkids to share into it. And I don't think they ever will, but it is what it is. Kids, what I'm saying, be kids. Have fun. Have fun. And that pretty much concludes tonight's version of the kids. You know, the two kids I have not spoke about yet would be Small Hank and little Kira. They're going with us. We'll either take my car and my 3 grandkids will go with me, and actually I'll have all 5 of them in the car, and my son and his wife will drive their car. Or we'll just take my car and 2 of my grandkids, my son, my daughter-in-law, and me will go. But one way or another, you know, if Ron's up to going, he'll go with us. But we'll wait and see. One way or another, this trip is going to be made. And I'm saying, guys, you do things. You have fun with things like this when you make traditions. And to me, this is one of the greatest traditions because I promised to my mom, and I will not let her down. So, as I said, this concludes, as I've already said, that, you know, this video is not made for kids, but they can watch it under the supervision of parents, grandparents, or legal guardians. And the music that we played tonight, even though it was not a good version of it, it was still Proud to Be an American. Proud to be an American. We have no legal rights to it. We play it for entertainment purposes only, and proud to be an American. And I keep telling this story every show because I want people to hear. Our president was in another country the other day, and when he came out on stage to thousands and thousands of this country's people, they give him a standing ovation as they played the song Proud to Be an American. And when you think it couldn't get any better, when you think they're showing all the love that they have for this band, all the amazing love they have for this band, you think it can't get any better, and he leaves the stage to YMCA. The only thing bad about it is he didn't dance, and he didn't get the prince of the country to dance with him. And that would have brought the house down, and that would have showed the unity that we need for the big N and the big G. And that's where we're heading, folks. That's where we're heading. Last night on Bruce, I will read what Bruce had to say shortly. But in a nutshell, one of the reasons we're stalled a little bit is because there were several banks in the United States that would not comply. They would not comply. They would not stand there and get set up for the quantum financial system. Well, they're not going to get a chance to comply now because the bigger banks. There's 5 different big bank systems that is literally more or less turning every bank into that. Now, I can relate to that, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pretty sure that my bank that I have banked at since I got married on April 9th, 1983. The following week, I opened up a joint account with my ex-wife at that bank, and I've been there ever since. So 42 years I've been there. That bank was there long before me, but it's a small town bank. But whenever I would go in and ask them, hey, could you tell me, do you have any of the new currency? They'd look at me like I was some kind of nut job. If I'd go in and I'd say, hey, do you know about the gold-backed standard? They'd look at me and say, wow. When I'd say, the fiat money is truthfully no good anymore, they'd look at me and say, they didn't want me coming in. They really didn't. But I kept going. But I never got the answers. And then the other day I get a memo. The blank, blank, blank bank that I belong to will no longer go under that name. We will now be going under a brand new name. And I got a feeling they did not comply and they don't own the bank anymore. According to Bruce, this is all supposed to be cleared up. But we heard that once before. But let's face it, guys, we're running out of time. We have a president that promised us that if he was elected and put in office, he'd have everything taken care of very soon. He's well over 100 days. He said he would end the war in them 2 countries. It would take him about a month if that long. He's over 100 days. And then I get a letter from the girl in the Ukraine last night, and she's telling me, well, I got it this morning, and she's telling me that a place in a city just over from the city that she lives in, the military base was shelled and soldiers lost their lives. I thought we was in a ceasefire. I thought that this man was going to meet with the two presidents of the other country and we were going to take care of this. You know what? He can spread his manure any place he wants to spread his manure, but when people are dying, it's timely. You know, he can't sit and brag that no soldiers have lost their life on his watch, because he said he would end the war in them two countries and he has not done it. He is doing a lot of good that we're not seeing. I want to see something. I don't come on the shows. I don't try to help people. I don't try to be a leader, because I want to hear it secondhand that Wolverine says, oh, I got great news. Oh. What do you mean the dinars are only going to pay $25,000? Guys, I'm going to tell you something. There's people coming on right now, and they're trying to make your life miserable. If you have currency, they're trying to make your life miserable. Where was these people? Guys, I've been doing this for years and years and years, and there's people coming on now. All of a sudden, everybody loves them because they're telling us this and they're telling us that. You know, a dear friend of mine posted something the other day about the beds. And now they're saying the only way you can get on a bed is if you have clear vision, if you know exactly what you want, if you are where you need to be. Because they will not work. And I'm going to pick out a name here. I'm going to pick out Janet because her name is in blue and I can see it better. Because Janet is my moderator. And Janet goes in, and what if she's having a bad day and they look at her and they say, oh no, your vibrations are not up. You can't get on that. You're not ready for it. Bull crap. They don't work if you're not vibrations are on up. Bull crap. Guys, remember what they've been using them for the last 2 years that we know of. They've been using them for the kids who was in tunnels, who was here, who was there. Their lives were nothing. They had nothing. These people were abusing them. They was doing things to these kids that is unspoken. And now they're healthy. They're living normal lives. So how could their vibrations been up? You're listening to people you don't need to listen to. Stop it. Don't do it no more. If someone's new on the scene and they're negative, get rid of them. We don't need. Where are the beds? They're in the med bed centers. There you go. See? You got me riled up and I mentioned the name. I don't care. There's 100,000 videos on these things on YouTube mentioning the names. They don't get in trouble. And I'm not trying to be rebellious tonight, guys. I'm trying to open your eyes. Quit listening to people that all they want to do is complain. Thank you, David. They're real. I've talked to a nurse that's been trained on them. They're real. Bruce last night talked about people that he knows that have seen them. They haven't been on them, but they've seen them. Doctors. If you can get a doctor to listen to you, if you can get them to go and do a Google search about them, they look at them and say, oh my goodness, this is amazing. But we still have the scumbuckets out there that want to put the crap in our head. Don't let them do it. It's not a rocket scientist things here. It's something we just can't get them get to us. You know, I was talking to Marianne last night, and we got talking about negativity, me and her, as we were listening to Bruce. And he says, I don't deal with it anymore. There's nobody more negative in the world than a lot of my family. A lot of Ron's family, which would be mine too. but they're so negative. So I don't say nothing. Tonight I was at my daughter's house, and I just happened to mention, boy, I think we're going to get some good news here real quick. And that's all I said, and she kind of looked at me and kind of gave me a, yeah, right. Like yeah, here we go again. But I didn't say no more. And she looks at me and she says, well, what is it going to be the good news? I said, when it happens, you can ask me why I didn't tell you. Why waste your time trying to help these people? They don't want our help. They don't want it. So don't worry about it. They don't want it. Don't give it to them. Concentrate on yourself and keeping your vibrations up. Come here or get involved in one of our groups and just go in and chat with somebody. Just out of the blue. Just out of the blue. I'm having a lot of trouble with my phone. I got a new one coming, but don't know when it's going to get here. I'll have to put my phone, I have to shut it off. As soon as I get done with this show, I'll shut my phone off. I'll put it on charge. And if I'm lucky, by 10 o'clock, it'll be back charged up. It goes through a charge, just boom. But I don't worry about the negativity on that. I do what I got to do. And that's what I'm asking you guys to do. I got a really nice laptop computer setting right here. I loved doing these shows on that laptop computer, and all of a sudden, I can't get on with it. I don't know what's on. Had my son look at it, he can't figure anything out. As far as he's concerned, the computer's running perfect, but it will not let us come to YouTube and do shows. So I'm doing this show on my phone and using my little tablet, which both of them are old. They're both about ready to fall apart. But I don't let it get me down. I keep doing what I need to do. And that's what I'm asking you guys to do. Let's see what Bruce did have to say last night. Guys, before I go any further, there is not a lot of things out there. Now, I could sit on here tonight and talk for an hour and 10, an hour and 15 minutes. You guys could chat on the sideline, and you could have a good time. But there's no sense wasting everybody's time. I'm not going to sit here and make things up. I did call out a guy the other day when I was picking up medicine. The pharmacist, every time someone got called up to get their medicine, when they was either paying for it or getting it free, whatever kind of insurance they had, when they was doing that, he would look at them and he would say, oh, it says here on the screen here in your report that you need to go in for this particular shot right here. You can get it here. I think it was for pneumonia. And you need to get that shot that they was given in 2020. And I listened. There was like 4 or 5 people back, and I listened to him telling everybody, and they'd say, if you want to get them, just stand aside. When we catch up, I'll take you back, and I'll take care of all of you. And I get up there to him, and he looks at me, and I had 4 prescriptions. They was all 4 free, and he said, I need you to sign there anyway, and I signed. He said, oh, Mr. Anderson, it says that you need to get your shot for pneumonia. I said, no, I don't. I said, I got a card right here saying I got that shot 3 months ago. Well, it says here that you haven't had that shot that for that thing that happened in 2020, you haven't had one since the 16th of September 2 years ago. You're due for another one. I said, it says that there? And he says, yes, sir. I said, could I see it? Well, he said, sir, I can't turn the computer around, and I can't let you come back here. So I said, so when you're making things up, you're lying to me. Well, sir, why would you say that? I said, because I've never complied in my life to have that shot that you're trying to give me. I don't believe in it. I believe it was just the flu that you guys blew out of proportion. So you pharmacists, you doctors, and you people that's nothing but a bunch of pains in my asses can make money off of us. He said, sir, you can't talk to me like that. People behind me is going, why? I said, sir, I can show you proof. The people who did not get the shot that you're asking me to take, and you're saying I haven't had one since the 16th of September 2 years ago. Yes, sir. I said, I've never had one. So there again, I can prove right there you're lying to me. We talked for a little bit. I opened my phone up and I showed him the statistic. The people who do not take that particular thing, they're very happy, they're very healthy, and they're very strong. The people who are, they're struggling, they're dying, and they're not in very good shape. I said, now, I looked at the people around me and I said, which one do you want to be? The 6 or 7 people that had went up before me that was waiting said, I'm not getting that, and they all walked out. The man was very upset with me. Might have to look for a new pharmacist. But you know what? If I got to find a new pharmacist, I will. They're all over the place. I don't even know why I ended up there anyway, but I did. And I was willing to be okay with it. But before we go to Bruce, I want to read this. 980 trillion CABAL money seized, world financial system in meltdown. A silent war just become loud. The CABAL off-ledger vaults have been raided. 980 trillion obliterated overnight. The backbone of global enslavement is collapsing. The media is hiding it. The markets are spiraling it. The shadow elites are scrambling to survive. This was the fuel of the deep state machine. It funded wars, bought elections, crushed whistleblowers, manipulated currencies, and now it's gone extracted by the corrupt alliance of patriots, rogue intel agents, and white hats financial warriors. They thought they was untouchable. They thought universal trust and black budget networks would protect them. But this operation cut off the head of the snake. No warning, no leaks. The largest theft from the thieves in human history. Markets are crashing. Banks linked to the CABAL are going down like dominoes. Multinational CEOs are resigning. Central banks are in chaos. Emergency meetings are being held behind closed doors, but it's too late. The people are waking up. Protests are erupting across financial districts. Whistleblowers are stepping forward. Former elites are turning on each other. This isn't just a great reset. This is the great revenge. The universal trust has been exposed for decades. It operated as a shadow command center, hoarding wealth, funding PSY, PISOPs, whatever, and enslaving entire nations. Now it's been stripped bare. Shell companies are folding. Offshore accounts are drained. But beware, the wounded beast still has claws. They will strike back with false flags, media lies, and digital panic. They will blame patriots. They will scream conspiracy. Do not fall for it. This is a fight of your lifetime. Stay alert, stay light, stay righteous. You are holding information most people would kill for. The storm is no longer coming, it's here. $980 trillion removed from the shadows, and we're just getting started. This is how world changes forever. When I got that last night, when I found that last night, I believe it was on our Telegram page, I sent it over, I copied it, and I sent it over to Ron so I could read it tonight. And when I did, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and he had told me 2 hours ago that he was going to bed. I figured he was sound asleep. But evidently he read it real quick, and boy, I got a big old thumbs up, so I knew I had something there. Bruce talks a lot about setting your accounts up. He talks a lot about Sue's program, Bob's programs. As I was getting play-by-play from Marianne last night, and she was telling me what he was saying. I kind of went into a thing that I found an emoji, and it was a hamburger bun. Had the top, then you could see it through the middle and the bottom. There was nothing on it, and it said nothing burger. So it kind of reminded me of Mark Z, where he's constantly doing the thing, but Bruce did talk about the Zim. He did talk about one of the things he mentioned was a currency from Indonesia, the rupee, I believe it is. And I've always wondered about that. And with my currencies, when I bought it for Ron and myself and my brother Russ, there were some times when I bought it, maybe I didn't get a receipt with it. Maybe, I don't know. But I went through all of my emails the other day and I found a bunch of receipts in my emails. So I'm feeling pretty good. And I remembered one of them. There was 2 different times I purchased Indonesia rupiah. And I thought, wow, that's in a basket. Now, Bruce is saying there's about 14 different currencies in the basket. There's only going to be one basket. There's only going to be one time. But then he gets talking about you have to go to a redemption center. Don't go to a bank. And, people are getting disappointed with Bruce because he's trying to tell people don't go to the bank. The only thing Bruce is trying to say, if you have dinar, he's trying to get people, I don't care if you only got a couple 100,000. You want to go there. I'm hearing rumors that if you go to a redemption center and you ask for the high rate, you might get as much as $25 or more for each one. Now think back at how much you spent for them. And then Bruce and I think it was Mark Z was talking the other day about the Zim. We've heard so many stories on the Zim, so many, and he's saying we're only going to get $11 million for every 100 trillion Zim. Is that supposed to make me cry? $11 million for 100 trillion? Did I pay $11 million for them? I don't think so. To be honest with you, the first 300 trillion I bought, I paid less than $100 for all 300 trillion. So if I get 11 million, less than $100 investment for $33 million, I myself personally think it's going to be more, but there's so many stories coming out. I don't even listen to them. It's just not worth my time. It's not worth me to get my shorts caught up the crack of my rear end and worry about something like that. It's just not worth it. But there's so many people that go, Patriot 5, did you hear what they said? We're only going to get $11 million. Only $11 million. And you know what I say to them? I take a deep breath and I said, well, let me ask you this. Did you pay $11 million for them? No. Did you pay $5 million for them? No. What'd you pay for them? And they tell me, and I go, then I think you're a winner. Chicken dinner. But see, then you got the card in the hole. Guys, listen to the card in the hole. David Duffy, don't you think we should always have that ace card in the hole? Right, Russ? We always have that card in the hole. Well, our card in the hole is we're going to the 1955 prices. So that $11 million is going to be worth probably something like $100 million. Can you spend that much in your lifetime? I'm figuring it this way. I get on them beds and I can live another 400 years. I still don't think I can spend $100 million in 400 years. But the one thing that I got laughing about last night when I listened to Bruce, and I love the man, I do, I really do. I don't like the way he promotes these other two people. But you know, they got to eat, right? And where we're eating bologna and liver sausage and that what's that meat that's got them little things in it? Salami. Bruce is eating steak and shrimp and lobster. And that's okay. What goes around comes around. But he said something last night, and I got so built up in my story.
If you get the steak, then
And just think, guys, we're going to all get steak. We're going to all get steak. You're going to get to a point in your life, you're going to get up. Someone's going to look at you. They're going to look at you, Bill Woods, and they're going to say, hey, what are we having for supper tonight? And you're going to say, what do you want? I'd like a nice prime rib, medium rare. And you go to that replicator and you said, 2 12-ounce prime ribs, medium rare. It's there. You want a baked potato with sour cream and butter? It's there. You want a nice salad to go alongside and maybe a bottle of wine to put the mood in there with you and your lovely wife. It's all there. And then you treat her like a queen and you say, what'd you like for dessert, dear? And maybe she tells you something and you get it for her and it's right there. And say, I love you so much. I'm even going to take care of the dishes. You pick everything up. I'm talking about the tablecloth and everything. You roll it all up together. You throw it in a little can and boom. And now you can get another steak. But what if we're as lucky as Mary Ann wants to be? And we can get Rosie as our maid. And she does everything for us. But we got to do some things ourselves. I said, I'm going to go to the replicator. And when they say, what can I do for you today, sir? I'm going to say, I want to go out and golf. Like Jack Nicklaus today. I want to see if they can pull that one off. Or I want to go fishing. I want to catch a 7-pound largemouth bass. I want to see if they can pull it. No, I'm just joking with you now, guys. But see, what I'm trying to explain is we're living in a time like no other time, and we're getting close. We're getting close. Someone sent me something from Wolverine, I think it was Diane today. I have not had a chance to check it out. I will. But, you know, I really hope we cross the finish line so Wolverine can sing the opera, because I'm getting tired of listening to him tell us he's going to sing it. I'm going to turn, he can sing it, and here's how I'm going to hear it. So I'm going to turn the voice down. I'm not sure that man's got the opera voice I want to hear. So let's see what Restore Republic has to say today. Hey, John, good to see you here, buddy. How's the kids? One voice, you're being quiet tonight. Just a little LOL there. Mickey MC. Oh, I love hot dogs too. Matter of fact, that's what Ron and me had for supper last night.
lunch yesterday.
Lunch yesterday. I stand corrected. I don't even know what we had for supper last night.
Hamburger.
We had hamburgers last night?
Yeah.
No, we had hamburgers 2 nights ago. I think we had hot dogs last night. This is Judy Bidington, you know, and we all know who she is.
We had bacon.
Yeah, we had bacon last night for supper. Oh, can you imagine having that replicator there and you just get up and say, I want a pound of bacon and I want it crispy and I want it now. Oh my goodness. Good thing we got them beds because we're all going to be on them getting rid of all that grease from the bacon. This is Judy. The 2020 election was a COUP. The CIA changed, you know, that thing that you put your name on and the mark you made from the hat to Sleepy on Dominion machines. The Brunson's case was about to expose the biggest fraud in U.S. history. And that made me happy today. When I listened to the Restored Republic, they started mentioning the Brunson case. And see, I don't believe we're going to go anywhere until the Brunson case is finally solved. Because, see, the Brunson case has to be solved where they come out and even mainstream media news has to announce that it was RIGGED. And that's going to be the glory days, you know, glory days. The world is connected. The world is watching. Be ready for blackout. Be ready for freedom like you've never known. Trust the plan from the letter Q. Sometimes the Lord calms the storm, and sometimes he lets the storm rage and calms the child. Reading that, the calm, the this, the that. Gary, Jerry, David, John, Janet, the ones I can see, everybody here, what kind of weather are you getting? It's the 21st of April, and it's not May, 21st of May, and we're not even going to hit 50 degrees in Illinois today. We're not even going to hit 50 degrees, and it's rained most of the day. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on my feelings. I believe there's something called WEATHER that is being controlled. I really do. But I think the difference is it's being controlled by the good people now to keep us to where we don't want to go out. I don't want to go out in this crap. You know, I was talking to my grandson, Patriot7 tonight, and in the last 2 nights, he's had 2 ball games rained out. This year, he's had 5 ball games rained out. And I looked at him and I said, you know, you're playing Little League. I played Little League 3 years, age 8, age 9, and age 10 before I went into All-Stars. And in 3 years, I never remember a game getting rained out. You've had back-to-back nights. You've had 5 games rained out. Now you got to make them up. But see, we live in such a whirlwind where parents, like my daughter, right now she's being mom and dad because her husband is down taking care of a storm in Missouri. And guys, I'm going to tell you something about Missouri. And I'm not cutting it down. It's a beautiful state. But when it comes to bad weather, they do not know how to handle it at all. I remember once when I was still married, and we were supposed to go down to Missouri, and they got 2 inches of snow, and they canceled schools down there for 4 days. 2 inches of snow. Hello, Valerie. How are you? Yes, we are, Gary. We all are. Oh, we always have to have that 85 degrees and sunny here in Southern Cal. Yeah, well, lucky you. But anyway, thanks everybody for coming tonight. I hope you're having a good time. I already told you that the 2020 election was the biggest fraud in history, of which the Brunson's case will verify that. But see, the whole thing is, at this point, it doesn't really make any difference. But I disagree with that. See, they're saying it doesn't make any difference that they're going to rule on the Brunson case. It's going to come out. It doesn't make any difference because we've got everything under control. Everything is about ready to be announced. But it does make a difference because, see, it's going to force mainstream media news to actually report something. And when people, and, you know, Valerie, Johansson, Lady Anita, Rodney, I'm sure you all have family members that are negative about things like this. But see, if they hear it from mainstream media news, you could go and tell them the same thing that the mainstream media news is going to tell them. You could tell them 100 times, and they think you was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Mainstream media news comes out and tells them, and they think it's the greatest thing. They know it's good. To cover mass arrest globalist traitors, the EBS will activate without warning encrypted channels will override civilian broadcasts. The global currency reset has been released with gold-backed currency mirrored in QFAS notes. Debt instruments nullified through sovereign treaties. Hidden wealth and stolen assets seized for redistribution. On Tuesday, 20 May 2025, the quantum financial system was fully activated. On Wednesday, 21 May 2025, the QSA interface unlocked for the public. On Friday, 23 May 2025, redemption centers will begin processing live bond redemptions, foreign currency exchange appointments under the full Big G protocol. On Tuesday, 27 May 2025, several aligned nations were set to issue coordinated Big G linked economic announcements, including debt forgiveness, abolishment of PREDATORY taxation, currency transitions, and launch of the national prosperity platforms. Judy warns that there's unknown people out there using her name. Be cautious. Be cautious. There is people imitating her. What we think we know as of Wednesday, 21st May 2025, Tuesday, 20 May 2025, RFK Jr. during the Sleepy administration, HHS became a collaborator in child, trafficking and slavery. Over 500,000 children have been lost on the Sleepy Watch. Tuesday, 20 May 2025, Deputy Chief of Staff confessed in an undercover video that Sleepy was near a something you eat with your potato and your meat. You grow them in your garden, like vegetables and that, over the last 4 years, and was never the U.S. That came from Alex Jones on Telegram. On 16/2025, Kash Patel, director, officially shut down the headquarters. EBS system alert began Big G on Telegram. Worldwide, we will receive 7 trumpets, aka EBS text messages on our phones, alerting us what is happening and urging us to turn into our TV and radios. Worldwide on TV and radios, the EBS will play 8 hours of documentaries 3 times a day for a total of 10 days, called 10 Days of Communication Darkness. Worldwide, and internet and ATM will not work during the 10 days. Worldwide phones will only work for 911 calls, but we can obtain a signal app from the military which will secure the phones to regular use through the new Starlink satellite system and quantum computers. The documentaries will cover topics such as arrest, tribunals, fraud, corruption, and some other things that I cannot mention. After the 10 days of communication darkness, all phones, TVs, radios, and computers worldwide will be connected to the new quantum internet run on a secure Starlink satellite system. All people of the world will be called into redemption centers where they will receive Big N, Big G payments and exchange and redeem our currency and ZIM and as secure banks. Possible timing, and it doesn't really say, it just says that is with possible timing. Pretty much everything else that they have here I've already read. I do want to ask you guys to say prayers for people who in need. Cindy had surgery. There's other people. If there's any birthdays, happy birthday to all of yous. And just know the guys, we're here for you. If you need help, reach out. Someone in a group or myself will be here for you. Praise for all in need. Lord, amen. Yes. That comes from Bill Woods. So anyway, guys, I'd like to say good night. God bless, and we love yous all.